Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here, as always, back from the NFL draft and catching up, actually, on all things RLCS. I didn't get to watch too much this weekend, but thanks to y'all. You guys kept me informed. You told me to go check out a couple videos and a couple series, and we're feeling pretty good about the results. So with that, we're going to break down what went down this weekend. We had NA top 16 fighting through multiple events, or multiple, I guess, stages in the format between a double elimination and then into a single elim in a weighted double elimination. And got some pretty interesting results. Some things going back to normal and some new faces, which is pretty exciting to see. As we take a look here at Open 4, again, you can always check these out on Liquipedia, or as always, if you have questions, stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. We're happy to help out with you. But the results as follows. We had our top 16, some new faces, like I mentioned, with obviously, it is the Oath Adam Knight type playstyle, but instead of Oath now they have Hazo. All these rosters similar to what you should be. Was up, making it back. Power Rangers is new. I talked about Mac, that young 14-year-old. That looks pretty dang good. SimTalk did manage to sneak into the top 16. Strictly Business is back. They no longer have Seamus, who went over. They now have Eris, former Pobe, or whatever iteration of Pioneers, or whatever the heck he was on. But the big one that everybody's been talking about is what's going to happen with Shopify and Gen G. They did firm handshakes. Reddles over from Gen G, and then Justin going over there. So curious, these were the two that we're keeping our eyes on. My conversation piece that I talked about in my predictions is these are the three to pay attention to. Anytime Gen G, Space Station, and Complexity play each other, it is a huge difference maker for who's going to make the major. Because I think major, no matter what, NRG and Ultimates will find their way there. I think there will be an answer for them. Very likely they're going to be the 1-2 seed. But between these three teams, whenever they play each other, it knocks the other one down, the other one moves up. It's really, really important for who's making Raleigh. So these are the three teams that I have my eyes on this entire split. Let's see what happens. So they got through Swiss. We got into then our group stages. We're going to focus on Group A and then Group B. Over in Group A, pretty straightforward. We wanted to make sure that Shopify and Gen G could answer the question of who ended up on top, and it is clearly and not even close Gen G. A lot of people telling me Shopify looked pretty abysmal this weekend. Despite that, they still found a way to make top 8. So not out of it yet. Maybe a chance as they progress. But Gen G out of the gate swinging, looking really, really good. I can't tell you how exciting it is to see Justin back on top. He's a great kid. Hasn't always been in the best environments when it comes to like what is going to propel him into that next state. Just that player that needs guidance and guardrails and a little bit of tough love, which I think he's definitely going to get from Greg and Kevpert. So holding him accountable and making sure that he really showcases what it is. To get Justin back on land would be a treat. Absolutely love the kid. So awesome to see that. There was also a conversation we had, and I'll see if I can pull it up for you guys here. Long time ago, back in November of last year, Cheese came into our stream, and he was talking about the situation of he was going to get replaced by Chronic. They didn't go with Chronic, and they stuck with him. This is an exact quote from my chat. You can see it here. From Cheese on November 1st of 2024. I asked him, hey man, regarding the Chronic situation, they were going to kick you. They didn't. Mentally, where are you at? What's your focus? How are the vibes on the team? If you feel comfortable talking about it. And he said, honestly, I don't mind it. They want to win, and so do I, and we're doing anything we can to win. But this is a wake-up call, and I'm going to grind harder than ever. So when he is facing the concept of, I'm going to be kicked, just kidding, stay with the team that wanted to kick me, his mentality is not, this feels weird. It's, hey, they want to win, so do I, but this is a wake-up call to me. I need to play harder. I need to try harder so I can retain my spot. Not only does he retain his spot, they make a heroic run in Open 3, go to the major, do okay, withstands another kick, gets rid of Reddles, brings in a Justin, and now they're in back-to-back regional grand finals. A little bit of a spoiler, they make the grand finals. I'm just saying, I can't but help root for Gen G and in particular Cheese. I think that guy has been getting a lot of harsh reactions from the community about saying he's the one who needs to go, and I think he continues to step up and keep his head down and grind. So again, that was back in November that he had that reality kind of, hey, time to step up and do my thing, and it's paying off for him. So very, very happy for Cheese. Same with Magic Bear and everybody else on that team. Gen G, I think, is a very easy team to root for, especially if those team streams keep going the way that they are. The big upset in those early rounds, Ultimates does end up conceding to Space Station with Kofor. If you guys don't know, Kofor almost setting records with his demos this weekend. The boy's a fiend. I remember we were watching some of their matches last split, and I didn't realize how much Kofor actually demos. It's a lot. And Space Station, which was the team when they had Frosty, also demoed quite a bit. So I think he's an easy fit. We talked about how I don't think that Space Station is going to regress at all. I think they're going to continue to just keep doing what they're doing, but add consistency to it. Hoping to see that. But for them to be able to take down some of the top dogs still is a really good look. That also continues about some of the stuff I said in my predictions, where sometimes, luck of the draw, you have a team that drops down to that lower bracket, and all of a sudden doors open up because you see good teams competing against each other, and only one can progress. So Ultimate's only one life. If they run into the big bad NRG, loss early, opens the door for some others. Shopify does manage to claw their way back, though, against Team Evo in a close game 5. Other side in Group B, and I wish I could show you guys these a little bit easier. This should work. Complexity through uppers, no issues there. Pobe and 9 lives. 9 lives with Zanil looking okay. NRG, quick work. The boys, unfortunately, after they got their first win, did have to forfeit both the rounds because Evo's internet went out, which is unfortunate. I do think if they stuck around, they definitely could have beat Deleted, because Deleted did not look great. I was actually surprised to see Deleted beat Pirates on a Boat. I thought Pirates on a Boat potentially was going to beat 9 lives, and then 9 lives was going to, because they've had Deleted's number for a while. It's just stylistically, for some reason, the systematic play of Deleted tends to handle Pobe pretty well. But 9 lives outside of their first time they got reverse swept against Deleted has had their number. So I expected 9 lives to make it through here, and then we were going to have a fun fight. But 9 lives does able to hold on the other side of the bracket, and even in a close game 5 makes it through. So your top 8, Gen.G, Space Station, Ultimates, Shopify, Complexity, NRG, Deleted, and 9 lives. Then gives us our playoff bracket, which apparently we had some pretty good games this weekend. Gen.G out of the gate swinging, ends up beating NRG 2 OTs, and kind of a seal of approval at the tail end, 9-2 in that last game to really put a stamp on it. I think a lot of people kind of woke up to this one and was like, what the heck just happened? Is NRG still faltering, or are they still playing defensive as it's been deemed? They've just been getting beat to the punch. I think teams are doing a little bit better job, especially over in EU, facilitating that offense and keeping them under pressure. So it may look like they're playing defensive, but the reality is they just haven't been able to get their offense going. But when they do, they look pretty dang solidified. Complexity does get a little bit of revenge for the Ultimates. I've got to sneeze here. Gonna have to edit that out. But Complexity does get a little bit of revenge for the Ultimates and is able to put Space Station back where they belong, they feel. To me, I talk about these being the important matches. Anytime Complexity, Space Station, or Gen.G all run into each other, these are the make or break. So for Complexity to be able to bump through and guarantee themselves the top 4 is really important for points. It allows them to keep themselves in the running. The issue I have with Complexity, no matter who's on that roster, I just don't see a world where they beat NRG or Ultimates. I think that's where I lean more into, like, Space Station and Gen.G potentially, even though it's very early for Gen.G. Space Station, I know, has the skill and the talent to go and compete against Ultimates and NRG, and I have yet to see that for Complexity. I just don't know if they have that extra gear beyond them that can really peak and get over those two teams, even if they're faltering, and I just haven't seen it. So it is cool to see, like, everybody talks about the head-to-head and be like, oh, well, they beat them, so they can beat them. It's not the case. Like, Complexity is beating Space Station, but Space Station is beating NRG, or Ultimates, and, like, they're all trading wins. So when we talk about, hey, when we get to the last end of the bracket, it's anybody's game. When we get into top 6, top 4, flip a coin. You just never know who can win. Unfortunately, for Ultimates in the lower bracket, they do run into NRG. It is a game 7. A lot of people said this series was really, really good. But NRG, to me, is still the better team. Glad to see it's still competitive. And I think this is going to be one that we get to look forward to now as NA fans. We talked about how well Ultimates did in the major, but I still think NRG is the better team. I do think this one is going to be no longer NRG just wins by default. It should be a close match. It's going to come down to the wire. So a lot of 1-goal games, 2 OTs even. So pretty good stuff there. On the other side, 9 lives should never concede to the Shopify team, and they continued to not. But up against Space Station, I think Space Station is just a more complete team. So they end up winning there. No surprise. Then these two matches were on Championship Sunday. So NRG moves forward. Space Station moves forward. We then had Cold Complexity again. NRG really showcased what they were. They conceded 14 goals on Championship Sunday. But what they didn't do is concede goals often in their final 2 matches. Semi and Grand Finals, they only conceded 3 goals. Only 3 goals were let in semis and grands, which is pretty crazy stuff. Ultimates put up a fight, which to me just continues to solidify the narrative of 1 and 2 is NRG Ultimates. They are the ones that are going to still continue to be a little bit further ahead, while the rest are trying to play catch up, and this kind of shows it. I say that, but just a day ago, just 2 days ago, Gen.G was able to take down NRG. So maybe it's a little bit closer than we think. Maybe Gen.G is pushing into that 3 spot. It's gonna be tough to tell until we find out how well they compete against Ultimates and some of these other rosters that are directly ahead of them. But those points, huge for makeup for World Championship. Even better, obviously, because the top 2 gives you kind of one oopsie type of event out of the opens. So they got a bit of a buffer. Again, big win here. This, to my knowledge, was the series of the entire event. Gen.G Space Station, I plan to go back and watch this one. I heard it was absolutely fantastic. Coming down to the wire, really close goals to keep them tied up, and ultimately it is Gen.G. I did see the last game of this. I was able to get home in time from the NFL draft and watch. They just had answers for everything, which is really exciting to see. Justin had like a bottom left shot that was posting in. That was absolutely perfect placement. It actually looked like it was off target, but a little bit of psionics love to make that one go in. But yeah, 3 OTs, close match. I think again, Complexity's got to be scared. Between Gen.G and Space Station, those 3 matches, I think they're going to be really, really exciting throughout the rest of the split. But NRG on top, back to the way that we expected. But still some good fight out of some of these new rosters, man. Good to see Gen.G showing what they can do, and Justin making a grand finals, man. Kind of hard to be upset about that. So pretty cool stuff across the board for that. We do have a week off from North America now as we gear up for EU, which is what coverage will be for the rest of this week. Coming up on the channel, if you guys want to make sure you don't miss out on it, like, subscribe, hit notifications, hit sub, turn that stuff on. It helps me out dearly. Join the Discord if you want to join the conversation or stop by the stream. But we're going to be talking about EU. We've got to talk about what the matches are coming up. We've already got the round of 16 double elimination already mathed out for you guys. So we'll be talking about that, giving some predictions, as well as kind of gearing up for what are these new rosters going to look like. Synergy went 3-0 in Swiss. Pretty wild stuff. Is Eugen going to be the answer for Alpine? A lot of answers coming up here in this weekend as we gear up for EU's top 16. But that's going to do today's video. If you guys have any additional questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.